What's up, guys? Welcome back to News Waves. Every now and then, Nintendo comes out of left field with a big event announcement like a random partner showcase direct, or even just a game announcement. That did happen yesterday, and we'll talk about that game here today. Also, we are going to be talking about a very strange leak that made the rounds yesterday online, caused a ton of confusion as it appeared to show Bandai Namco's release schedule for the next couple of years. And we're also going to be talking about Bayonetta 3 because it looks like we're going to be hearing quite a bit more about this game here soon. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button, helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawnwave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And we're going to start today with Rollerdrome. This was a game that was revealed during Sony's State of Play. And it was certainly one of those games that they initially showed and everyone was kind of like, what is this? It seemed like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater with inline skates and dual pistols. Well, now we have a bit more information around the release when it comes to the pricing and even trying this game out before you buy it. We can see this. This was over on Gamatsu with some of the details, but we also got a new trailer that showed off new gameplay as well as some discussion with the developers around creating this game. But Rollerdrome will be releasing next month, August 16th at a sale price out of the gate at $19.79 on Steam or for PlayStation Plus members. And it'll also be part of the game trial program for the PlayStation Plus premium tier, which means you can try it out for like an hour or two and then decide if you like it. And if you can buy it for the $20 price. Otherwise, though, the normal price for the game is $29.99. And from what they showed, I think after getting over the initial, like, what is this moment with the game when they revealed it, it is looking more and more interesting, I will admit. I mean, yeah, it's, like I said, Tony Hawk Pro Skater mixed with just an action arcade shooter, but I don't know, the idea of doing flips with inline skates and also taking out enemies with shotguns and dual pistols, I don't know, it could be a lot of fun. So if anything, it's worth checking it out on the PlayStation Plus premium tier if you remember. Otherwise, we'll wait for some reviews. Also, we did get a release date for Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2. It is coming out next week, July 20th. It's hitting for all platforms, so Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and on PC. It will have enhanced visuals, so 4K resolution and frame rate, better frame rate and all of this for the Xbox Series and PlayStation 5. And with the Switch, obviously, it's a hybrid system, so it'll have like handheld mode gameplay for Dark Alliance 2. But this is a game that I actually enjoyed quite a bit on the original Xbox. It was one of those titles that when we all got together and played Halo and then we kind of broke off during the LAN party and we just played different games at different parts of the house. This is one I remember going through with a couple of friends and it was a blast on that original Xbox. So I'll be checking this one out next week when it releases. My thing with some of these remasters, that get like these enhanced editions, sometimes we'll see them released in pretty poor states. So I'm crossing my fingers and really hoping that Dark Alliance 2 comes out in at least a good shape. So I guess we'll find out though next week, but certainly looking forward to this one, July 20th. Oh, and speaking of next week, Stray will be releasing, and that's going straight in PlayStation Plus. But something I was really hoping for was we would find out about a physical copy of this game. See, with like Kena Bridge of Spirits, that was one that released like digitally onto the PlayStation platform, and then it came out much later physically. Well, Stray is going to be a little sooner, it looks like. It will have a physical copy. Looks like I Am 8-Bit is handling this. We had like an entire trailer just for the physical copy being announced, but we can see some of that here. I Am 8-Bit even has like an exclusive edition that has like a premium matte black, it's like sleeve for the game, an oversized poster, 6 premium art cards, and a few other little things there. So at least it has kind of this nice extra stuff that comes with it. But the good thing here is it's going into PlayStation Plus day one. So technically you can grab it there and then wait for the physical copy on September 20th when it releases. It's about 2 months after it comes out. That's my plan. Download it on PlayStation Plus and then pick it up or buy it later on in September physically to add to the collection. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Nintendo. Well, being Nintendo and coming out of left field with a game announcement, one that I don't think anyone was expecting because it's another Kirby game. We just had a really good Kirby game, one that I would say, even for me anyway, is the best Kirby game I've played so far, that being Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And then months later, they're like, hey, here's another one. We can see the trailer. This is for Kirby's Dream Buffet. This was just an announcement trailer. We're still waiting for a release date or really any more information than that, like pricing, anything. But according to the description just on YouTube, it says, hungry for some 4-player Kirby fun, race through delicious obstacle courses, collect the most strawberries, and thwart your competition using familiar abilities. It's marked as coming to the eShop exclusively, so it's just going to be a digital-only release, which we had another Kirby game not too long ago, this before Forgotten Lands. I think it was like the previous year. On the eShop exclusively as a digital title. So this isn't necessarily new for the Kirby franchise, but this is certainly a unique looking game. I mean, it's a racing game, but you also get to the end and it's mentioned as a final battle on the Nintendo website, and you can do up to 4 players. So it definitely seems like just like a multiplayer party kind of game. And I'm curious about pricing and obviously that release date, because it says summer. Well, we're in the summer now, so it's either coming out this month in the next couple of weeks, or it could go all the way until, well, I guess Splatoon 3 was like right at the end of what Nintendo and I guess the world considers summer, but most of us look at July and August as being like prime summer months, so I figure we're going to see this one either by the end of July or sometime midway through August. And this did get me thinking a bit about Nintendo's strategy right now, which we're going to come back to when we talk about Bayonetta 3 later on in the show. And that is, does Nintendo necessarily need a first-party direct right now when they can do stuff like this? They can announce this Kirby game on Twitter, and then they'll say, hey, we'll give you a release date later on Twitter again, and then they just make a couple of game announcements here and there just to work on rounding out their fourth quarter for 2022, and then they have a direct later on in the year, maybe in September, to get things set up even for 2023, as a lot of people are already looking that way for something like Breath of the Wild 2. But hey, certainly a good year so far for Kirby fans with Forgotten Land and now Kirby's Dream Buffet. I am curious how big this game is. I'm kind of picturing it as like a $20 or $30 game that's going to have, you know, a couple of courses thrown in there, but it's mostly going to rely on you and 3 other friends just getting time out of going through this in multiplayer and making your own fun, essentially. But if it comes out as a $20 game and it is a lot of fun and you can play online against your friends, it could be a good time and worth the money. So let's keep an eye out for more information around this game and, of course, wait for that release date. Next up, let's talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, this being a game that was revealed during Square Enix's own Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary presentation, and I'm very excited for this game to find out more as we head towards its release, then eventually getting to play the game. But of course, something people noticed right away when the trailer ended was it was just one logo for systems, and that was the PlayStation 5. That's not to mention like multi-platform support with the Xbox, but even the PS4 was missing out on this one. So clearly Square was going to be asked about why they're not targeting the PlayStation 4 along with the PlayStation 5, and we can see some of their response here. There were several interviews that were done with Square Enix, and their answer for this, they said it's exclusive to PlayStation 5 because of the graphical quality, of course, as well as SSD access speed. Since the adventure unfolds in a vast world after the escape from Midgar, loading stress is an extreme bottleneck. We felt we needed the specifications of PlayStation 5 to overcome that and travel the world comfortably. I do believe that in development for something like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, it probably is easier for Square to just target one platform currently, that being PlayStation 5, and obviously, Sony dropped a bag with them to just make it PS5 exclusive. How long will that timed exclusivity last? Well, I mean, Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't on any other platform with like consoles. It's on PC, but still hasn't gone to Xbox. So it could be years, even after this trilogy ends, before it finds its way onto another console. However, the idea of there being a bottleneck with the hard drive and the slower transfer speeds with the PlayStation 4, that's actually kind of believable because that's the biggest jump we see between generations. I know people mention the graphics and visuals, but going from a mechanical 5400 RPM drive to the NVMe drive inside of the PlayStation 5 is a significant jump. And it's something that I wanted to see developers attempt to take advantage of sooner rather than later. And the cross-gen support is something that I think is lasting longer than a lot of people were expecting. And yeah, that has to do with just shortages overall with the PS5 and the Xbox Series. Currently, even Sony is, God of War is coming out for the PlayStation 4, so they're kind of doing that too. Something they have never done, by the way, is this much cross-gen, if at all. So I do believe that when Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out at the end of 2023 or beginning of 2024 even, we'll hopefully be past some of these shortages with the PS5, and we'll probably see a lot of studios at that time kind of leave the PS4 and that slow mechanical hard drive behind. But to me, with what they're probably going to try to do outside of Midgar with a larger world, and hopefully get rid of those passages you had to kind of crawl through or slowly go through, or just stop you from running and make you walk a bit so everything can load in front of you, that should hopefully go away, and we should have I would assume, pretty big experience outside of Midgar with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Next up, let's talk about Bandai Namco and this strange leak that was really making the rounds yesterday. And it's a slide that shows several planned titles for Bandai Namco over the next year or two. We can see it here. And this is what started popping up on Twitter, on popular forums, on Reddit, and it kept getting pulled down and put back up. And I had so many people send me this. And after a little while, I did start to take a look at it because I'm like, you know what? There was that report that Bandai Namco was hacked, information was compromised, and there's ransomware involved, which is where the people who have been able to steal the information has locked it away from Bandai Namco. I talked about this on the second channel, but I mean, we can see it has Q1 fiscal year 23, then Q2, Q3, Q4. And I mean, look at Q1 immediately, Armored Core and Dragon Ball The Breakers. Well, I mean, Dragon Ball The Breakers, sure, but Armored Core? Okay, and then we go to Q2, there's Little Nightmares 3, Dragon Ball FighterZ Super. Then there's Digimon, that was a Cyber Sleuth, there's Story 2, there's Elden Ring, Barbarians of the Badlands. That's actually kind of a pretty bad title. Then Tales of Ascension, Tekken 8. That one caught a lot of people, their interest right there, seeing that big 8. Code Vein 2, One Punch Man, Fighters Association. Hey, I wouldn't mind seeing a decent One Punch Man game. And then Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. Okay, first of all, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, Bandai Namco is going to give you more DLC for Xenoverse 2, and they're going to just say you're going to like this DLC and give it to you, and that's it. We now have Bandai Namco works with these Dragon Ball games at this point. But here's the issue. First of all, Tekken 8 that was discovered pretty quickly. That's a fan-made logo on here. And then the other thing, whoever made this doesn't understand fiscal years. I think in their mind, they lined it up with just 2023. So they think Q1 fiscal year 2023 is like January, February, and March of 2023. That's not correct because we've already completed Q1 fiscal year 2023. In fact, that's something we'll see reported on August 5th, according to Bandai Namco's investor relations page. So, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not playing Armored Core right now. And then you look towards like Q2 fiscal year 23. I mean, they still haven't announced something like Dragon Ball FighterZ Super, Digimon Store, any of that stuff. So immediately look at this slide. I understand people look at 2023 and think, okay, this is for next year. It's actually for like half of this year and then like a quarter of next year. So the fact that a lot of this stuff hasn't even been announced or hinted at really, it's pretty obvious this is a fake slide. It just really started to make the rounds because it came just hours after it was announced, or at least it was really announced by different groups online that Bandai Namco has been hacked. Bandai hasn't actually made any comments on that. They're going to be talking with, I'm sure, several different agencies and authorities before they make any public announcement around this. But for now, the slide that was going around that people were sending me and others, it is fake. So there we have it. Although Armored Core, I do believe that is actually something that will probably be announced here in the next couple of months. So I am at least anticipating that, but the rest of this, I mean, who knows? And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Bayonetta 3, because it sounds like we're going to be seeing some information around this game here in the next day or two. Could actually even be today. But Bayonetta 3 did get an ESRB rating. It hasn't been made public on ESRB's website just yet, so it sounds like it happened in the last 24 hours or so, because the ESRB website will sometimes lag behind a bit when it comes to the ratings, and of course there could be some information in there that might even spoil a reveal or something that's coming up soon. But it is over on Nintendo's site currently with a mature rating. Shocking, I know, we were all pulling for that E10 plus rating for Bayonetta 3, but looking at this, the rating being revealed on Nintendo's site tells me we're getting right up against its release date reveal, and I'm still placing it in October. I actually think like 3rd or 4th week of October. They're going to try to, I think, drop it right in there near Halloween. I guess it could try to also get into November, but I think November is going to actually be a pretty packed month for a year that I've seen people, of course, we talked about this on the Spawncast, say it's kind of been a slow year. I think November is going to be jam-packed with releases, but I do believe Bayonetta 3 is going to make it into this year. That's another thing that comes up. People believe it's going into 2023. I just think this is something that Nintendo will reveal on Twitter, once again, as like a Twitter reveal with the release date, a trailer, and then we just roll towards marketing over the next couple of months until it eventually comes out. I do believe that's how Nintendo will handle the next couple of months for any other reveals they want to do. The one that I'm kind of up in the air about is this rumored, and I mean, at this point, expected Metroid Prime Remaster, because if that is coming out in November, do you wait until a September Direct to announce it and then push it out 2 months later? That's tough. Could they do it? Yeah, because it's a game we've already, well, some of us have already played. It was a while ago, right, that it came out on the GameCube, and then even that Prime trilogy. I keep forgetting that the Wii generation, for some people, that was like a long time ago, right, to where they didn't even have a chance to have a Wii. So this is going to be a new game for a lot of people. How does Nintendo want to treat it? But hey, Jeff Grubb has gone on record many times where he's very confident that it's coming out this year. So we'll see how Nintendo wants to handle it. Will it be a Twitter drop, or will it be something that they headline a Nintendo Direct with? But otherwise, Bayonetta 3, look out for some more information on this one with that release date here pretty soon. And before we go to the comment of the day, we're going to take a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I asked, Bayonetta 3 has been rated, which means the release date is most likely set for reveal soon. When do you think it's coming out? This is basically like last call, all right? Place your bets. September is 4%. I'm actually surprised people, I mean, I guess they could do it 2 months from now. I guess. We already know about the game. October leading the way at 35%, but look at this right behind that. 2023 at 26%. Interesting. I mean, I think most of us believe that October makes sense for Bayonetta, kind of that like the Halloween theme, I guess, right there by it. But that's where I'm placing it. 3rd or 4th week of October, right there at the end of the month. So I guess we'll see. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from SCJ saying, while I'm willing to spend $70 on a game, if it's a title that I have been waiting some time for, or a title that I'm very excited for, I think the big reason people are more upset at the jump from 60 to 70 rather than the jump from 50 to 60 is because most, if not all, of the companies who are raising the price of their games are now thriving off of microtransactions, opposed to around 17 years ago when they basically were non-existent when the 50 to 60 price jump happened. And also, these companies are delivering us pretty much the same quality of games in the 9th generation as they were in the 8th generation when they cost 60. I do think that's something that people look at, like the jump from 60 to 70, and then look at the games and they're like, this game also exists on the PS4 as well as the PS5. So it's like, why is it just like it's kind of 4K on the PS4 Pro? That's the thing. It doesn't look as big of a jump as we had going from the original Xbox to the 360 or that PS2 to that PS3. That was a pretty big jump. We went from composite to HDMI, right? That was big. And you're correct when it comes to microtransactions really funding many of these projects outright. I mean, we see these companies, they'll, like EA or Activision, whoever, will show up and they'll say, we are making record profits and money, all thanks to microtransactions and live service games. But then they'll say, well, we have to move this stuff up to $70. How else are we going to make these games? But you just told us you made almost $1 billion last year from microtransactions. Does it need to go up $10? Should you be lowering the cost of entry for these games that have a lot of microtransactions on the back end? That's kind of the way I'd be thinking about it. But I mean, games move to 70 like a Call of Duty or what, Madden or NBA, and they still sell a bunch of copies. So hey, I guess they're doing it right if they're making money on microtransactions and also on the upfront cost. But I get exactly what you're saying, because they've been making much more money than just going from 60 to 70 would by itself for quite a while. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. Was Nintendo surprising everyone with Kirby's Dream Buffet? Are you excited to check that out in the next couple of months? And then the Bandai Namco fake leak. Did you think it was real at first? And what game on that list would you have been most excited for? And then what about Bayonetta 3? Do you think it's coming out this year, and when do you think it's going to release? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.